gardeners get pretty antsy in the wintertime when we can't be out in the garden. So it's kind of fun to bring plants indoors and do some gardening with houseplants in the wintertime. Today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite easy to grow plants for indoors. One of my favorites of all time for winter gardening is the geranium. I brought this from outside. It was on my porch all summer, and when I brought it back in, I just cut it really short so that it produced all this new growth. You can see how green the new growth is coming up, quite vigorous, and it's starting to produce flower buds. Here it is, right now it's the end of January, and I've got flower buds forming for all of February, all of March, all the way until springtime now. This is going to be full of bright, bright red blossoms. Another good one for flowers in the winter is this goldfish plant right here, and you can see where it gets its name. The little flowers look just like little goldfishes. It's a bright orange color, and against those nice shiny green leaves, it's pretty even when it's not in flower, but it tends to flower in the wintertime, right when I need some color the most. So I really like that one too. This one is called a peace lily or spathiphyllum, and it has a beautiful white flower. It's going to flower pretty soon, not quite yet. But again, this one has nice foliage even when it's not in flower. And one of the nice things about this one, and the next one too, is it likes low light conditions. So if you don't have a bright sunny window, both of these will thrive with less light. So the spathiphyllum here, and then this pothos, which is a wonderful, easy to grow plant. If you're just getting started with houseplants, I suggest you start with this one. You really can't go wrong with this. I'll come back in a minute and talk about how to prune it. And then another favorite of mine is the Christmas cactus. It comes in lots of different colors. It has this kind of shape to it, this overall look to it. Mine finished flowering just a little while ago, and you can see the new growth coming out, new little leaves forming, and eventually I'll get another bloom out of this one. And one thing I like to do with this is I prune it back a lot to keep it compact, and then I root the cuttings. And so here I've got some of the next generation coming along. You can kind of see the sequence here from the youngest to the middle age to a full flowering size plant. So most plants don't do a lot of growing in the wintertime. Our days are short, the light intensity isn't too much, so they don't push out a lot of growth. Pretty soon though, as the days start getting longer, they're going to start growing, and that'd be a great time to repot or divide the plants. This spathiphyllum that I mentioned before is a good example. It's a nice full plant right now. It really is pretty much ideal in the pot, but if you wanted to check to be sure, you just slide it out of the pot and take a look at what the roots are doing. And you can see it's got some nice healthy roots. That's, it's relatively full. It's not really crammed or packed yet. So I'm going to leave this one alone for another 6 months or so before I reconsider whether it needs potting or dividing. When it needs dividing, all I have to do is take a sharp knife and just slice right through the middle of that, put each half into a new pot, and the plant will start regrowing, and it'll really thrive with that kind of treatment. This pothos, this is what happens all the time. You see this over and over again. Look at how pretty the growth is at the bottom of this long, long vine. It really is nice and full and green and lush. It's got some nice variegation on the leaves, the different colors. That's a nice color pattern on there. But if you look at the top, it's bare. Not much is going on up there at all. It's actually kind of unattractive at the top here, right where you see it the most. You don't really see the bottom down there. You see this part here. And you can also see that the roots are coming out the bottom of this. So this is getting pot bound. The plant is pretty old for this pot. So this is one that's really going to flourish if I cut it back pretty hard and encourage new growth to come. So if you just take a look at how it grows, see it's got long, long viney lengths. So all I have to do is cut just above one of the leaves like that, and you can't even tell where I made the cut. And then I've got this wonderful long piece of the plant that I can now root and make many more plants with it. So I know it seems like I'm taking a lot off, but I can root this and make more plants out of it, and the original plant is going to be a lot fuller and more attractive with this haircut. So go ahead and have fun with your plants. You can enjoy the geranium that's about to burst into bloom, or you could prune it back or propagate it. You can divide the plants that are getting kind of crowded in their pots. You can propagate plants like this Christmas cactus here and make more and give some to your friends. Or you can just enjoy the plants that are in flower right now, like the goldfish plant. Just enjoy the color and the brightness around your house. So there are so many different ways you can enjoy your plants indoors this winter while you wait for spring to come.